In today's video, we have one of the weirdest updates that I think I'm ever going to cover in a video, and that is that Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales trailer that was going absolutely viral on YouTube with north of 11 million views. Well, it's been taken down because of a copyright claim. Now, who is making this copyright claim? Gameloft of all people. This is so strange, and I don't know how YouTube let this slip through their cracks. I know their copyright system has a lot of issues, but this is a multi-billion dollar industry, I should say, and Spider-Man is one of the biggest franchises in it. Sony is obviously not violating any copyright laws with this, so how did this happen? I don't even know. I'm befuddled right now. We'll talk that. We've also, in more positive note, have an update on Ratchet Clank Rift Apart, and Star Wars Squadrons has 0 microtransactions, so for a Star Wars EA title, that is already a very, very good sign. Alright. So let's talk this. I first noticed this on the PlayStation 5 subreddit. Weirdness, Sony's Spider-Man PS5 trailer pulled from YouTube due to Gameloft copyright claim. I'll leave a link to Push Square's article on this as well, because this is just so strange. Sony uploaded the Spider-Man Miles Morales trailer when that PlayStation 5 event happened. It was by far the most viewed trailer out of all of those PlayStation 5 game trailers. The only one that had more was the hardware reveal trailer. That one did have more views, and that one's still up. Now, it would be one thing if this was a legitimate copyright claim. Maybe somebody is impersonating Sony, and Sony somehow made a copyright claim on Sony's PlayStation YouTube channel. I don't know. That would have a little bit more validity than Gameloft somehow filing this copyright claim. Now, there is actually something tied to all this. Gameloft, I believe, does do the mobile Marvel titles. I actually remember playing like the Spider-Man game. I think it was called Spider-Man Mayhem. I'm not sure what the title was, on iPhone, and I'm pretty sure that was done by Gameloft. And by the way, I remember that game being awesome. I played it on the iPod Touch back in the day, you know, when those were a thing, but that game was awesome, so I'll give Gameloft credit for that. If that game was, in fact, done by Gameloft, I don't really remember it, but I remember that game being absolutely terrific for a mobile title. And yeah, okay, so maybe there's a little bit of a tie-in there, but how does that lead to the official PlayStation YouTube channel's video on Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales being removed from YouTube? I'm sure Sony is going to get this remedied very quickly, but this is an issue on the Gameloft side. This is also an issue on the YouTube side for making this copyright claim system completely a train wreck, to put it lightly. Now, what I imagine what happened was that Gameloft may have let a third party do all of their copyright claim systems, and then maybe that third party misunderstood something, and then they went after this video. I don't really know. Could it really be somebody's just impersonating Gameloft? How would Gameloft even be that company that you would impersonate to get this video taken down? This is just so strange, and I'm sure, again, the video will be up shortly. I would be surprised if it's not back up at the end of the day, but this is very much shining a light on how broken YouTube's copyright system is, so hopefully they get that remedied as well. And obviously, this is something that they need to get fixed as soon as possible, especially because that video was getting hundreds of thousands of views a day, and that's honestly putting it a little bit lightly. Again, it got to 11 million views. Obviously, the majority of the views were on day one, as it typically is. Nevertheless, there you have that. Alright, moving on from that, here is some more positive news. Ratchet Clank Rift Apart creative director discusses PlayStation 5 advantages. Now, the PlayStation YouTube channel just uploaded this, and it didn't get taken down, thankfully. Ratchet Clank Rift Apart Insomniac Insights. Marcus Smith spoke about the game and a new game being built ground up for the PlayStation 5. Noting, this is the first Ratchet & Clank adventure that we've done in a long time, and we're super excited. This is the game that tells the story of an arch-nemesis coming to town and accidentally damaging the fabric of space-time, causing dimensional rifts to erupt throughout the world. Ratchet & Clank is a series that prides itself on exploration of exotic worlds and bring you to places you've never seen before, and that's something that we're really striving for, and that PlayStation 5 is really allowed with just increased horsepower. The number of objects in the world and the things to explore, the enemies around, the effects, everything is more. This is what we're trying to do, is build worlds that feel real and are bringing you in. You're exploring these brand new spaces, and this is something we never could have done with previous generations. Rift Apart is a game that utilizes dimensions and dimensional rifts, and that would not have been possible without the solid-state drive of the PS5. Yeah, the Rift Apart trailer was a real big showcase on the solid-state drive on how they're transitioning between very distinct set pieces and locations just at the blink of an eye. You could not do that on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, or previous platforms. The SSD is screamingly fast, he says. It allows us to build worlds and project players from one place to another in near instantaneous speeds. It's an unbelievable game changer in terms of what we can do gameplay where you're in one world and the next moment you're in another. We're loading up levels that happen so quickly, and the action that you don't even imagine that this is something we could do before because it feels so natural. Long gone are loading screens. Now it's all about bringing exciting new adventures. The DualSense controller of the PS5 is a tailor-made for Ratchet & Clank weaponry. The amount of tactile feedback that you get when you're using your weapons makes it feel way more powerful, and also lets you know how the weapon is behaving. One of the examples of our weapons is the Enforcer. It's like a double-barreled shotgun, and it uses the adaptive triggers to give you tension. As you're moving your finger down halfway, you can fire one barrel. If you pull it all the way down, you can fire both barrels, but all along the way you can feel the difference between the tension tightening up, and it just makes all of our weapons much more immersive and powerful feeling. Another thing we can't wait for you to experience is 3D spatial audio. This really is a fundamental difference between listening to a television set and going out into the middle of a forest. It brings you into these worlds in a way that you've never been able to do before. They conclude with a conclusion statement, and yeah, this is a game that I've said it many times. It's a game that I'm incredibly excited for, but I'm very nostalgic towards Ratchet & Clank. Like, I'll make no qualms about it. I have an incredible bias towards Ratchet & Clank. Like, I grew up with this franchise. This was one of the, not first franchise that I played in gaming, but, you know, as far as the second tier franchise that I really got attached to, Ratchet & Clank is definitely there. I played every single game. I loved every single game. Now, I haven't played the games in quite a while, at least the older titles, but Crack in Time still stands out to me as one of the best platformers I've ever played, maybe my favorite platformer I've ever played. And I am just so excited for the return of the Lombax in Rift Apart, and now we're introducing more Lombaxes. Clank is back, and hopefully we see the story get a significant progression as well, because I'm really excited to see what they can do here. I also believe that this is going to be the start of a new set of games for Ratchet & Clank, because if you're introducing other Lombaxes, if we're going into the dimension where the rest of the Lombaxes are, well, that really opens the floodgates for a lot of storytelling possibilities, so very much excited for what they can do with that. Alright, and lastly, Star Wars Squadrons is a game that's available for pre-order. It's at a budget price point of $39.99, and it will not have microtransactions. How about that? In a recent interview with Game Informer, Star Wars Squadrons creative director Ian Fraser made it clear that this game isn't a cosmetic selling machine. Our mindset has been very old school. We're trying to say with this game that we have a $40 price point. We want to feel generous to players, and we want it to feel like a complete experience. Like, you give us your $40, here's a game that you will love. Thank you. That's it. This isn't something we are building around a live service strategy. It's built around a game that is complete and great in its own right. That's not to say we will never add anything. I guess we could, but it's not presented as a live service. Mitch Dyer also added 0 microtransactions on Twitter. None. It just won't be in the game. So that is very exciting, given that Battlefront 2, the microtransactions that were reportedly to be employed in the game initially, that absolutely was a PR nightmare for Battlefront 2, and even though it ultimately turned out to be a relatively good game now, its damage has been long-lasting, and it really never has recovered from what it possibly could have been. Nevertheless, with Squadrons, it's a brand new experience, so hopefully EA can get back on track in offering us quality Star Wars experience. Hopefully we see Knights of the Old Republic. Hopefully we see more quality action-oriented titles. What about Force Unleashed 3? That is something that I think would be really cool. I love those titles. Nevertheless, as far as Squadrons go, it's going to have 0 microtransactions. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, hopefully Sony gets that SpiderMan PS5 trailer back up quickly, because that is just a ridiculous case right now. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart creative director has discussed PS5 advantages, and you really see that as far as the SSD goes. Star Wars Squadron has 0 microtransactions, and it's not a live service game, so that's super exciting news. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.